Well, this one for all the marbles. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Dugai, coming at y'all with another episode of Dropping Dimes with Mr. Dugai. And today I'm going to preview and predict Monday night's national championship game as you have the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Before I get into this video, man, for anyone, if you want to drop a dollar on the Cash App information is down in the description box. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, that information is down in the description box. If you're a subscriber to the channel, greatly appreciate the love and support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification button, like the video, and share it with your folks. Also, if you want to get VIP access and get videos like this way before everybody else, scroll down and click the join button, and get on the membership. Well, 12-team playoff, man. Ironically, the first year of the 12-team playoff, we get the number 7 versus number 8 seed to play for the national championship. It's been fun. I think honestly, I do have some seeding issues. I felt like Boise State should have never been a 3 seed. Arizona State, I had a little bit of a seeding issue with them, but at least they showed that they was worthy of at least consideration of a buy. But and maybe they may have to factor in schedule strength of schedule a little more next year. But all in all, I think before this championship game, man, kudos to the college football. This playoff has been excellent. It's been outstanding. I know the first round games were blowouts, but it still was cool seeing, teams play on their home, in their home stadium, which both these teams did. Um, it's been a success, and I'm looking forward to this thing just continuing to get better and better as the years go on, yo. First, now looking at this matchup, starting off with the Ohio State Buckeyes coming in off of, a 14-point win against the Texas Longhorns, a game where they got tested, game where they got pushed a little bit and tested. They went through Tennessee real easy, went through Oregon real easy, and Texas, this was a tied game, in the second half, But Will Howard, is not spectacular quarterback, not a first round top 10 type of quarterback by any means, but a guy that's a vet that's played a lot of football and is solid. The two-headed running back combo of Quinshawn Junkins and Travian Henderson, they both scored. Touchdowns in the last game. They got probably the best running back duo in the country. And the duo at receiver, man, Jeremiah Smith, the man child, who I still feel like is the best physically gifted freshman wide receiver I've ever seen. And Emeka Abuka. Smith had a quiet game because Texas triple teamed him. Texas gave him that Calvin Johnson treatment. Abuka had a couple of catches, but Tate, their third receiver, was the guy that really stepped up, and made some plays. And of course, defensively, man, led by the two superstars, Jack Sawyer made the game-winning play, the strip sack on his former roommate Quinn Ewers. Got a perfect bounce and hard ass after that. Scored a touchdown on the scoop and score. And Caleb Downs, man, who I think is just absolutely sensational in the safety position. Got the game sealing interception, man, to put it away. And like I said, this team coming in, they rolling, man. They the team that just feels like they playing the perfect ball at the perfect time. And I know I'm upset Ohio State fans with this, but they $20 million roster look like a $20 million roster. I know they tell me Oregon and Texas roster cost more, but this look like a $20 million roster. I mean, I dare y'all to try to tell me Notre Dame roster costs more than this. And look, and like I said, it's not a slight. It's not a slight on Ohio State that their roster is 20 million. I'm actually complimenting them because everybody is allowed to pay their players, and you paid your players, and you got a good return on your investment. That's all I'm saying, man. I'm not saying you paid 20 million and everybody else paid 5, or you got an unfair advantage or nothing like that. Nah, you played by the rules and you did it the right way. You money well spent. You can't. It's not a slight. It's a compliment that you got a $20 million roster that looks like a $20 million roster. You could tell me Oregon and Texas roster cost more. It don't look like this. So shout out. So y'all actually got a good bargain. You know what I'm saying for y'all roster. And then looking at Notre Dame, coming in off of the win against Penn State on the game-winning field goal at the end. A game that was filled, a really, really great game, by the way. The Ohio State Texas was a really good one, but this one was a really instant classic. Swing of emotions on both ways. Notre Dame was down 10-0, then it was up 17-10, then it was down 24-17, and they went 27-24. Led by Riley Leonard, who actually did, I thought, a good job throwing the ball in this game. The running backs, Love, who's coming in not being 100%, but showing a lot of toughness running the football, Jeremiah Love. And in Great House, the receiver, man, made some really big plays. Big touchdown over there in the fourth quarter. Just had a great game. And then defensively, the secondary. Notre Dame has a really good secondary, man, led by the All American Xavier Watts. But they get the big interception, at the end of the fourth, which I thought Penn State was foolish for even trying that and not going to overtime. But nevertheless, Notre Dame capitalized on it. Um, and they did a good job, man, as far as getting the pick and getting close enough in field goal range for the kicker, to make the big field goal to win the game. Ohio State feels like the team that's playing its best football at the best time, that's reaching its full potential, whereas Notre Dame feels like a team full of destiny. They feel like, similar to like the 2002 Ohio State team, you teams like that are going up against much more talented teams, but they find ways to win these games, man. They find ways to win the game, man. Against Georgia, they get a kickoff return. Indiana, they get a big 98-yard touchdown run. And against Penn State, they get the big interception at the end. They feel more like a team of destiny. And not to say that this team don't have talent, because they do have talent. But comparable to Ohio State, no. But they do feel like they got a lot of good juju going their way. I'll say it like that. As far as my keys to this game, man, for Ohio State offensively, they gotta run the football, man. Ohio State gotta run the football with Quinshawn Junkins and Travian Henderson. Um, He'll open up the passing attack and, in keeping Will Howard out of turnover worthy situations. So I think for Ohio State offensively, it's running the football. And of course, for them defensively, it's stopping the run. If they stand tall and stop the run, that forces Notre Dame to drop back and have to throw the ball more than what they want to. And I don't think Riley Leonard, though he had a good passing game last game against Penn State, that's not really Notre Dame's success for winning. It's throwing the football consistently. So for Ohio State, run the ball, stop the run. And for Notre Dame, offensively, the flip side, run the football, man. Find a way to run the football effectively with Riley Leonard, and with the running backs as well. And you keep that Ohio State ball hawking secondary and pass rush off of you a little bit. And of course, for Notre Dame defensively, they're gonna have to force a couple of turnovers, man. They're gonna have to find a way to get a turnover or two to give themselves a short field to be able to score more points or to take away scoring opportunities from Ohio State. As far as my prediction, man, Notre Dame has been a team of destiny all these playoffs. They just feel like if they win, it was their time. It just, well, I mean, whoever win, obviously it was their time, but it just feels like, okay, they won because they were a team of destiny to win this game. But Ohio State is just too talented, man. Ohio State, I think, is just much talented for Notre Dame. I like for Ohio State that they got pushed a little bit by Texas. Now, if they was coming in off of three straight blowouts, then I could definitely make a case for Notre Dame being more mentally tougher and more ready for a bigger, closer game than Ohio State. But the fact that they was in danger of going to overtime late in that game and made a big play to win it, I'm gonna go Ohio State, man. They just simply got the better team. They just better across the board. They're healthier, and they're more explosive offensively. And I just think they're the better team, and they should win this game. I mean, the point spread I think is 8.5, and that tell you everything you need to know. Not saying it always play out that way, but I just think this team that loss to Michigan really reset and recharged this team. And before I end this video, I want to highlight Notre Dame fans right quick, man. You see, obviously, with me being an LSU fan, I got reacquainted with y'all the last few weeks when this playoff thing started, when I started actually covering Notre Dame. And we've been having a lot of back and forths over Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman. And look, and I'm gonna say this, and that's why I want to end this video with this. Look, as an African American man myself, I take joy and pride in seeing African American coaches have success, unless it's to the detriment of my own team, of course. Um, so I'm happy for Marcus Freeman. I'm happy that he's doing big things and he's very well supported where he's at because, like I've said over and over, I feel like it's too much of a shortage of African American head coaches in college football and in the NFL. But with that being said, look, has Brian Kelly been a slam dunk for LSU so far? No. I'll say that it's been a little bit of a little slightly underachieving. I'll say up to this point. But look, as an LSU fan, right now I'm good with Brian Kelly. Next year we got the number one transfer portal class coming in. We got a top 10 recruiting class, and we got a quarterback that's coming back that's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football when you start the season next year. I am very good and fine with the direction of LSU football right now under Brian Kelly. But let me say this, man. I do get annoyed. Look, if you happy with Marcus Freeman and you good, that's fine. I get it. You know, he's a breath of fresh air. I get it. But I do get annoyed with Notre Dame fans absolutely bashing Brian Kelly the way y'all do. You're playing for a national championship and you still bashing Brian Kelly. You come across as someone who is marrying this other person that is more, more attractive, more successful, is more liked, and all that other stuff. But yet you still wondering what your ex is doing. But yet you still constantly talk about your ex. Um, Despite the fact that you got this new person you about to marry, you still talking about your ex. You also come across as a program that is insulted that a coach told you wasn't good enough for him because Brian Kelly left Notre Dame because Notre Dame don't have the resources to get talent that the way LSU does. Look at the Joe Burrows, look at the Jay Daniels, look at Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Derek Stingley Jr., Jamar Chase. Do I need to go on? Like, look at the players that come through LSU, in the last 10 to 15 years compared to Notre Dame. Look, I get it from a historical standpoint. Notre Dame is a more prestigious university, with Rudy and all that. I get it. The NBC contract back in the day, I get all that. Notre Dame historically has a bigger history than LSU. But when we talking since the 2000s, it's not even comparable to Notre Dame and LSU. LSU has three national championships, played for a fourth. Notre Dame only played for one. Oh, until this one. This is the second one. Oh, by the way, that was with Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly took you to a national championship game where there was no NIL. There was no transfer portal to level out the playing field, the advantages that Marcus Freeman have at a school like Notre Dame. NIL, if you gonna pay somebody at Louisiana Technical College State A&M University, if you gonna pay them some money, they gonna go play over there. So NIL has leveled out the playing field when it comes to that. Brian Kelly didn't have that advantage when he was at Notre Dame. He actually had to convince people to go up to cold ass South Bend, Indiana, and to play at a university where the academic standards are a little higher. He couldn't just get boosters to pay players, back then. And he didn't have a transfer portal where you could go get a starting quarterback from another program and he'll play right away. Yeah, you had some instances like that with graduate transfers, but it had to be transfers that graduated. You can't every year just go get a Sam Hartman or then go get a Riley Leonard. You actually had to either hopefully to get somebody that graduated, or you had to sit there and develop a quarterback for a few years, a couple of years or so to lead your team. Marcus Freeman has advantages at Notre Dame that Brian Kelly never had. And he took you to a national championship game when only two teams got in the BCS. He took you to a college football playoff when only four teams got in. There's 12 teams in this thing now. Notre Dame is ranked seventh. So if this was the 14, now I get it. I know Boise State and Arizona State probably wouldn't have been in if it was a 14 playoff that was ranked ahead of Notre Dame. I get it. But it's a possibility that Notre Dame would have been left out this thing if it was still a 14 playoff. Now you have the luxury of a 12 team. So as much as y'all want to bash Brian Kelly, by the way, Marcus Freeman is at Notre Dame because of Brian Kelly. Like as an LSU fan, Coach O's last year, we fired Bo Pelini. We were looking for a defensive coordinator. Marcus Freeman was the hot defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. He had two interviews, LSU and Notre Dame. He came to Baton Rouge and interviewed with Coach O and LSU. And you know what? He decided to go meet Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. So Brian Kelly is responsible for bringing Marcus Freeman over there to Notre Dame to be the DC. And when he left and came to LSU, shout out to Notre Dame's administration by having enough confidence in a defensive, African American defensive coordinator, and promoting him to the head coach of that historical university where a lot of other schools probably wouldn't have took that chance. So yeah, I do tip my hat to Notre Dame for that. But the reason he was there in the first place was because of Brian Kelly. So for y'all to sit here and want to bash my head coach and talk about how y'all so much better off without him, I'm gonna be honest, I don't agree with y'all. I think it makes y'all look insecure and I think it makes y'all look weak. And as an LSU fan, I am perfectly okay with Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly took your program to heights that it's never been since the late 80s. And he did it when it was much harder to do than it is today. With NIL, you could get anybody you want. With the transfer portal, you could get anybody you want. Brian Kelly didn't have that luxury at Notre Dame. And he didn't have to be one of 12 teams. He had to be in the top four to get in there. And I say all that to say this. If Notre Dame, I'm picking Ohio State. I think Ohio State will win this game comfortably. If Notre Dame wins this game, I will tip my hat and I will gladly say, you know what? Marcus Freeman is much better for y'all than Brian Kelly. If Notre Dame wins this game. If Notre Dame loses this game, you can't tell me nothing no more about Brian Kelly. Because if Marcus Freeman goes out there and gets his ass kicked like Brian Kelly did against a more talented Alabama team in 2013, Marcus Freeman hasn't done no better than Brian Kelly. So all this Marcus Freeman better than Brian Kelly and you better off with him nonsense is gonna stop. Because I'm gonna let you know you didn't do nothing. Just because you think the coach is a nicer person or he's younger or you still butthurt because you got dumped and you ain't used to being dumped. You the pretty girl that think how dare somebody dump me. I'm gonna remind you that you still what you was with Brian Kelly if you lose this game. But if you win, I'll tip my hat. Y'all better off. But either way, regardless of if Notre Dame wins or loses this game, as an LSU fan, I'm good with Brian Kelly, and we gonna be in this 12 team playoff thing soon too. But with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Hit the like button for your boy. Give me a subscribe. I have LSU, NCAA, and content on my other teams throughout the year. Also, like I mentioned, if you want to get videos like this before everybody else, Click on the join button and get the VIP access to these videos. Y'all have a blessed one. Go Tigers.